Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Danny Velasco, BNI's Director of Global Events and Communication. I want to welcome our BNI members and guests from around the world to the BNI's Better Together Live today. And thank you for joining us to kick off the 15th Annual International Networking Week. We enjoy getting to put on events like this for you all, but there's a special thing that we want to say. First, we're streaming live today from nearly 76 countries around the world. So if you need translations, just go ahead and look below in the description. You can click on that translation link and live translations will pop up for you after you select your language. As well, please drop in the chat and tell us where you're coming from. We'd love to see our global footprint that's joining us today. Now, I want to say thank you to a very special group who sponsored today's event. That's our NDs. Our NDs. They're responsible for sponsoring today's event, but also for the leadership that has helped BNI get through the last 37 years. By saying that, I have to also pay attention to the fact that thank you to our members. Our members are responsible for the 37 consecutive years of growth in BNI. We love what you guys do to support each other, especially during these unprecedented times. Being a BNI member, that means we demonstrate that we are better together. Living through the global pandemic has been the most significant social, economic, and health challenge of our lifetime. These past 20 months have tested our strength and our spirit, but BNI members have risen to the occasion time and time again. In fact, in the last 12 months, you all that are joining us, members from around the world, have closed over 18.6 billion US dollars in revenue from other BNI members through 12.4 million referrals. That's an incredible amount of business. We do that because our culture of givers gain gives us the confidence to face challenges knowing that we're not alone. As we look to the future, we do so with optimism, knowing that the people that were together, that with us during the most difficult times in our lives, will be here as we emerge together better than ever. But before we jump into our main presentation for the day, I would like to share with you all a very special video. It's the world premiere of our special music video by a BNI member, Deanna Loveland. Deanna is an amazing singer, songwriter, musician, and composer. And it's with her that we were able to put together this song that she'll perform, which is called Better Together. So without further ado, I give you Deanna Loveland.
I'm Deanna Loveland, and I am a pianist, harpist, and singer-songwriter. I'm a mom of 3 boys. That's brand new to say now because I just had my 3rd boy 6 months ago, so he's not toddling around yet. He's still figuring out how to sit up right now. I started playing the piano when I was 5. Saw a harpist playing at a conference when I was 9, and I sat down at the harp and just tried it and could play all the songs I knew on the piano. First, I would say I'm definitely a musician, singer. That's what I'm super passionate about. But it really depends on who's asking as to what I'll tell them that I do, because there's so many different things. We started a garage door company, S&S Garage Doors, 2.5 years ago. Brandon, my husband, was already working in garage door sales and service and installation for years before that. And so one of the first things we did was join BNI. I've had a friend who had told me about it. I had already visited as a musician, and it was a great thing for me, even though I wasn't a member. Being a visitor, I got a lot of gigs from it, and so yeah, we just dove right into BNI with our business, and it's been a great thing. During the pandemic, the hardest thing for us has been watching a lot of our friends struggle. It's been good in a way to help and just be there through that, and in whatever ways that we can. Thanks to BNI and the members of our chapter, our business is not just surviving, but thriving. We're looking forward to the future with excitement, knowing that those people who have been with us through this most difficult time of our lives will continue to be there as we emerge together better than ever. Better together.
that's okay. We all feel the pain, but when you're stranded in the rain, it's hard to see that you've got me. I'll be right here. I'm in your corner when we're one for all. We can face it all. We're better together. We're better together. I'll stand by you forever. We're better together. People come and go, but no one seems to know me like you do. What we've been through, I'd say we've seen it all, and we're still standing tall when faced with change. You'll find a way. I see your smile helps to bridge the miles when I'm full of doubt. You make the sun come out. We're better together. We're better together. I'll stand by you forever. We're better, and you never have to be alone. The road's been long, there's a brand new dawn, and we can be better together. We're better together. I'll stand by you forever. We're better together. Better together. Better together.
I've got two words for you. Simply amazing. I absolutely love that song. Trust me, that chorus just gonna get stuck in your head, because what Deanna did is really encompass how we've been feeling these last 20 months. For those of you that are wondering, this video will be available on BNI TV on YouTube for you to check out after this presentation. As well, we'll make it available through our BNI members communication so that way you can share. I hope you get your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn ready. We'd love to see what you all can do with that music video to show us how you are better together with your members and chapters from around the world. Thank you, Deanna. So now I have the pleasure to introduce to you the host of today's Better Together Live, BNI's very own George Barlow. George serves as the Director and Head of Global Franchise Development at BNI. He leads all global franchise development and expansion efforts, including new country development globally, as well as sub-franchise development support in existing countries. George has spent the last 21 years working in franchise development, operations, mergers, and acquisitions. His previous leadership experience includes roles with Wykert Real Estate Affiliates, Executive Financing Consulting Company, Prudential Real Estate Affiliates, and Realogy. Since joining BNI, George hasn't, no big feats or anything. He's just been instrumental in launching BNI's franchises in Mauritius, the Czech Republic, Panama, Ghana, and the relaunch of Barbados. Kudos to you, George, and welcome to those countries to our BNI family. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you George Barlow.
Thank you so much, Danny. Hello, again, I'm George Barlow, and I would like to welcome you to today's presentation of BNI Better Together Live. We are streaming live today to over 76 countries around the world. Our very own BNI founder and Chief Visionary Officer, Dr. Ivan Misner, along with BNI Chairman and CEO Graham Weimiller, will share their insights from around the world on current business trends. First, let me introduce Dr. Ivan Misner. Dr. Misner is the founder and Chief Visionary Officer of BNI. He founded BNI 37 years ago and has become the largest and most successful networking organization in the world. He supports over 285,000 members in 76 countries. He's helped businesses grow through some of the most difficult economic times in the world's history. He's called the father of modern networking by CNN and one of the top networking experts by Forbes. Dr. Misner is considered to be one of the world's leading experts on business networking. He's a New York Times bestselling author who has written 26 books. I would also like to introduce to you Graham Weimiller. Graham is chairman and CEO of BNI, the world's largest and most successful networking organization. Under Graham's leadership, BNI has grown to 285,000 members meeting weekly in over 10,500 chapters worldwide. Graham's experience working with business leaders in 76 countries across the globe have made him an expert in business strategy and operational excellence. He has led BNI directors and supported BNI members the past 2 years through the most difficult business environment of our lifetime. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today. As I said, the past 2 years have been one of the most difficult business environments of our lifetime. With BNI now in 76 countries, you both have a significant amount of global experience. Please share with our listeners your insights and best practices for growth in 2022. Share with us how we can be better together. So let's get started. Graham, this question is for you. What business trends do you think will define 2022 and perhaps beyond?
Sure, George, thanks for the kind introduction. You mentioned the term expert. I would just say, I'm not sure anyone is an expert in what's to come. I think we're all learning together. So really honored to be with you all. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, BNI members and directors worldwide. Welcome to BNI's International Networking Week. George, to address the question, I'd like to point out some of the elements that will make 22 really dynamic. And then I'd like to point out some of the things that really are positive and should add a lot of acceleration to the growth of businesses around the world. First off, I think we'll be moving from a phase where many organizations and economies are recovering. I think what we'll see as we move further in 2022 is a surge. Now, it will be very uneven, and that will be a little challenging to navigate, but agility will be key. We'll see some surging of different geographies and different industries, but I think we will be moving pretty solidly from recovery to surge in terms of the next part of the recovery. I also think that labor markets will be challenging in the first half of the year, really throughout 22. But as we get to the latter part of 2022, I think we'll see some normalization. And so I think that's very positive. Supply chains, which have been in the media for how disrupted they've been in 2020 and 2021, will be like the labor markets, a little bumpy throughout 2022, but they will start to normalize as we get to the back half of the year and certainly into 2023. So for those that are sourcing goods for their products or services, especially cross-border, definitely an area to pay attention on, maybe to add some cushion. But as they get a little bit further into this year, I think things will start to normalize. There is an element that's probably new to many entrepreneurs and business leaders in many economies around the world, and that's inflation. For a variety of reasons, that is more present today than maybe at any point in the last 20 years in most countries. And that will make both the sourcing and also the pricing of products and services, important to think about. So inflation will be something that's prevalent in 22 and likely into 23. And so for business leaders and entrepreneurs, that's just something to keep kind of top of mind. Now, there are lots of positives to be focused on this year. First off, cross-border, and when I say border, I mean, businesses that thought they were operating within a town or a city, and now they can operate nationwide and globally. So cross-border opportunities are now available to virtually every business on the planet. That means literally the world is their market. That's an exciting thing. So if you're an entrepreneur or business leader and you're considering becoming a global business, you can do that absolutely today in ways that just weren't possible just a few years ago. Number two, I think one of the trends that will continue and grow into the future is really focusing on diversity in terms of building teams. We know more diverse teams are more creative, and that creativity is going to link directly with the innovation that happens with products and services. So very positive trend. I think that will continue into the future. I also think that businesses are going to be thinking more about sustainability and the environment. And I think, of course, that's very positive as well. So that's going to be something that consumers and clients, really want to be aware of, that that's part of the ethos of different organizations that they're working with. And I think that will be important to entrepreneurs and business leaders throughout 2022. I also think that businesses are going to be focused on building more lasting relationships and being less transactional. This is something that a lot of businesses started, before the pandemic. I think through the pandemic, they really valued the clients and the customers that they had longstanding relationships with, and those customers and clients did as well. I think that will form the bedrock for a more definitive long-term approach for lasting relationships between businesses and their clients and customers. I also think that there'll be more collaboration between businesses. And that's another exciting area for everyone tuning into this webinar, really thinking about strategic alliances, joint ventures, lots of different ways to work collaboratively with organizations that provide complementary products and services, or even businesses that provide the same product or service that your business might provide. By working together, each business can be better off, and certainly clients and customers can as well. Finally, George, one thing that I note is, we expect in 2022 that, some of the technologies that were just discussed in 2020 and 2021 will become more pervasive. They'll also become more part of how growth-oriented businesses are doing business. And so specifically, we're thinking about augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrencies. Those things are just a few of the many technologies that were just discussed in 2020 and 2021. But here in 22, they're going to become more how we do business. And, as we move into 23 and beyond, there'll be more of an expectation that, whether it's the metaverse or the technologies I mentioned before, that organizations are fully leveraging those to support clients and customers in the best way. So those are a few things I'd love to point out as we're thinking about 2022 and beyond.
Wow, lots of information, Graham. Thank you so much. Ivan, what are your thoughts on business trends?
Thank you, George. It's good to see you again. It's great to be on the virtual stage with you again as well, Graham. In 2018, I wrote an article for entrepreneur.com that said that the future of face-to-face was going to be online. Now, I thought it would happen within 5 to 10 years because of technological advancements like mixed reality, holographic imaging, the metaverse, but COVID expedited the transition to online networking. Clearly, that trend will continue. Business people need to pivot in order to stay up with the introduction of these technologies. It's important that we look ahead. There's a reason why our windshield's larger than our rear view mirror. It's important to have the clearest view possible of where you're going and where you want to go. Don't get me wrong. It's important to know what's behind you and learn from where you've been. However, if all you're looking at is your rear view mirror, it's because you're going backwards. When you do that in life, you're not living in the present and you're not aware of what may be ahead of you. I believe in being connected to the past while looking to the future. Thanks, George.
Ivan, before you go, I've got another question for you. We hear every day people talking about the new normal. Can you provide your perspective on what the new normal will look like?
Yeah, our business lives will be a lot more new than normal. The businesses that will succeed in 2022 and beyond will need to be open to change and finding new ways to run their business. The true leaders in business, regardless of the industry, need to be resilient, and they need to think creatively. They need to make smart tech investments. The expansion of digital integration in business was inevitable, as I mentioned earlier. Strategic market leaders must now take the lead to advocate and deliver on strategies that embrace technology. I'd like to say that the status quo will go, but the truth is the status quo is gone. There will be some settling in, but things are not going to be the same. We all know this at some level. And if we think about it, our daily lives are full of yesteryear's changes that we now embrace. The telegram, the rotary dial telephone, the pager, the 2-pound mobile phone. Yes, I had one of those once. All of these were the status quo of their day. And now the majority of us rely on our smartphone, which itself was a major change and disruption to the industry. Whether we like it or not, the future involves change. The status quo is gone and the change is happening. We can choose to resist it or embrace it. Not only embrace it, but I say lead it. Don't be disrupted, lead the disruption. George?
Graham, I'd like to pivot a little bit to leadership and customers. Graham, how should entrepreneurs and business leaders be thinking about leadership moving forward? Also, what's expected by customers and what will make the most successful, make them successful both personally and professionally?
Yeah, absolutely, George. So I think the number one thing that clients and customers and teammates are going to want from leaders is authenticity. And so let's talk for a minute about what authenticity means. It means being humble. It means being open to being wrong. It means listening more than directing. It means a lot of engagement with clients and customers and teammates, and really, realizing fully that as a leader, we're here to support all of those who are above us. And sometimes, if someone mentions a certain individual is, the boss of an organization, I'm always quick to point out that actually the clients and customers are the boss. And so I think having that kind of approach and having an authentic leadership style is really more positive, more sustainable. And I think more than ever, I think that's what clients, customers, and teammates are looking for. I think it's important also for leaders to be investing in themselves. And so it's commonly the case that, an entrepreneur or business leader is thinking about investing in software or a new office or additional supplies or some other resource, but they in fact are the most valuable resource coordinating all that's happening to help make sure that clients and customers achieve their goals. And so it's important for leaders to invest in themselves. Now, what does that mean? It does not mean that they need to go take a 3-month executive education course and, be outside of their business and all that kind of stuff. It is more possible than ever to, take that learning in bite-sized, doses, and really for it to be a continuous basis. So whether it's a TED Talk or just ordering some books off Amazon, you name it, investing in yourself is really important, and it's easier than ever. I think another element is different than investing in yourself in terms of leadership development, professional development. It's awareness. And so really being aware of trends that are happening both across the globe and also across town. Those things are really important. So staying plugged in, staying engaged is really important. And then finally, fitness and wellness, because, agility is going to be the name of the game just here moving forward. Maybe it always has been in business, but certainly moving forward with the different technologies that are coming to market, And so, our sense is that a focus on wellness is really important so that you can bring your best self to supporting your teammates, your clients, and your customers, so that you can think creatively, and that you can be sustainably successful. And that's one of the things that we talk about with BNI members and BNI directors around the world. It's great to see a business, kind of rocket up. But, many times we kind of rather see them be sustainably successful over time. And that's what we hope for all of you as well.
Ivan, we all learn from our challenges in life. And so as you look back to the past 2 years, what challenges have you encountered?
Well, George, there have been many challenges. One mistake I made was going out at the beginning of 2020 to buy an annual planning calendar. In March of 2020, everything I had planned needed to be replanned. And then again in April, and then again throughout the whole year. I was constantly reviewing my plans and adjusting. Planning for many companies used to be an annual exercise. And once finalized, the focus was on execution. Today, you need to constantly evaluate your business health within the ever-changing business environment. That's the world we live in now. We live in a world of predictable unpredictability. But the one thing that has remained unchanged for the last 37 years is the power of referrals. They are the engine that drives any business. How that's done may change, but the need for referrals remains the same. We are all better together. George?
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Ivan. Graham, nearly all businesses are looking to grow. Probably each business that is participating in this live event are looking to grow. But what are some specific pieces of advice you might provide for businesses to accelerate their growth in 2022 and beyond?
Yeah, let me start out with something that I think is really important. I think we all are aware of it, but maybe we don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. And that is being clear on your purpose as an organization and communicating that purpose at every opportunity. Internal meetings, external meetings, clients and customers, prospects that may become teammates or clients or customers. Communicating that purpose is really important. Customers today really want to work with organizations that have a shared set of values and that certainly produce a good product or service, but that are about something even more than that. So communicating your purpose pervasively is really a great place to start, and being clear on that purpose. And so if you're a growth-oriented business and you have not stated kind of in writing your purpose, it's a great opportunity to have some time with your team and maybe even with some customers to get their input and make that a collaborative process. So start with the purpose of why your organization does what it does. Now, I think you're right. I haven't met many businesses that aren't looking to grow. And one thing I would recommend for growth-oriented businesses is, raising capital when they don't need it. And, one of the things that's happening right now and has been happening for some time is, the availability of capital, and especially capital that supports growth-oriented small and medium-sized businesses. And, we shouldn't always assume that capital is going to be as available as it is today. We don't need to look too far back in history to see points where raising capital was really difficult. So raise capital when you don't need to raise capital, and that will help fuel your growth. I also think in terms of team development, it's important to hire really strong generalists. Now, you're going to need specialists in finance or technology or some other areas, but it's really helpful to have a strong and growing team of generalists that can pivot between projects, that can pivot as client and customer needs change. And so not only thoughtfully recruiting those generalists, but onboarding them well, and then providing terrific leadership development opportunities once they're on board. That's a lot of fun, but it also supports that strong muscle that your organization has to continue its development. I would also say that being networked as an organization is really important. Certainly, it's important for referrals and closed business, without a doubt. Referrals and revenue matter to every business out there, but also in terms of learning and encouragement. One of the things that we want to prevent as entrepreneurs and business leaders around the world are situations where our teammates or other businesses are kind of on their own, on an island, not as fun or fulfilling or successful as working together with other organizations, again, with complementary products or service, or even with other organizations that may be offering the same kind of product or service. There are so many opportunities for positive collaboration. And I think that will be more important than ever as we move into 22 and beyond.
Thank you, Graham. You definitely have to know your purpose, but you have to know your why. Ivan, I've heard you speak about co-creation. Please share with our listeners what co-creation is and how leaders can apply it to help grow their business.
Thanks, George. I'm working on a book about this very topic. It's called The Third Paradigm, and it should be released next year. We did a survey of 4,000 people as the foundation of this book so that they could learn how to utilize co-creation in their companies. We're moving into the era of co-creation. The concept begins where cooperation leaves off. The difference between cooperation and co-creation is the difference between working together versus creating together. You may collaborate on a project, but when you co-create products and services, that's what co-creation is all about. Co-creation is a significant step beyond cooperation. It's about bringing different parties together to actually produce, improve, or customize a product or service based on a mutually desired outcome. Co-creation is about jointly creating value. And we have certainly focused on that in BNI. In the 2000s, the internet brought this to the forefront. Crowdsourcing has become a critical tool for engagement. The advent and widespread application of digital technology has made customer empowerment a must. Society is rapidly moving from a passive to a more participatory consumer culture. In addition, many want to make sure that there is a social cause related to the brand that resonates with the brand and the clients. And I know Danny's going to talk about that later. Organizations engage in co-creation because they wish to foster the buy-in of stakeholder interest and increase value through innovation. So look for my book in 2023, George. It's called The Third Paradigm.
The Third Paradigm. We'll definitely be looking for that, Ivan. Co-creation. It sounds like a marvelous concept. Graham, technology has played a key role in BNI's success over the past 2 years with BNI Online. How should growth-oriented companies be thinking about technology to power their growth moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely, George. Just before I address that, I would encourage folks to check out some of Dr. Meisner's existing books. There's 26 to choose from, fantastic content, and really predicted a lot of the change that is happening now in terms of the intersection of business and technology and how we interact as entrepreneurs and business leaders around the world. Certainly check out The Third Paradigm when it comes out as well. So in terms of technology, the first thing I'd mention to growth-oriented businesses is that, it doesn't have to be overly expensive. And I would really encourage, entrepreneurs and business leaders to think about the technology that they need now and maybe for the next couple of years, but not to try to, integrate the technology that they may need in 5 or 10. Why that may seem counterintuitive? Well, technology, as we know, is changing rapidly. And so some of the features today that may be, at a premium in terms of cost may be more commonplace in just a few years. And also because of the changing nature of technology and also client and consumer purchasing patterns, you don't want to buy too far ahead of time. So focus on what you need now. And it, again, doesn't have to be overly expensive. There are more options available for really useful technology for small and medium businesses than ever before. I would advocate using a test and learn strategy. So start with a pilot, make sure it fits the business process that you need to support clients and consumers. I would be careful as a small business about, unless you're a technology company, about embarking on a homegrown system out of the gate. If you're an organization with more scale, that may be exactly the right thing to do. But if you're an emerging company you may want to look for something that is available, and then later you might be able to create your own technology after you've refined your business process over which that technology would lay. I would also prioritize technology that makes it easier for clients and customers to work with you. That makes it easier, not more complicated, but easier. That's really important. There's a lot of things we can do to support clients and customers, but few are better than making it easier for them to work with your product or service. The second thing I would think about is any other technology that touches the client or the customer. Okay, so after you've made it easy, any technology that touches the client or the consumer, should be prioritized. But don't forget, and this is the maybe third phase of integrating technology into your business process, don't forget technology that makes it easier for your team to support your clients and your customers. It's easy to only invest in customer-facing technology, but there needs to be a balanced approach so that your team can work very efficiently as well. And so one other thing I'd mention is, as important as the technology that you choose, maybe more important is making sure that your team has the proper training to fully utilize that technology. And what we see time and again in small and medium businesses especially is that they have more capabilities than they might be aware of within their existing technology. So before adding technology, make sure that you're fully leveraging the technology that you already have on hand.
Really great points, Graham. Easy and user-friendly, I would say. Ivan, in 2022, what's the one thing you believe that business people can do to accelerate their sales growth?
So it's been proven that when you increase your base of referral partners, it drives more revenue growth. We looked at the data, and if a chapter of 25 members doubles to 50, the members of the chapter can see as much as a 76% more referral revenue in the group. Even one or two new members can make a difference. Each new member of a network often brings a fresh new source of referrals to the chapter. Referrals are the best way to experience sales growth. And BNI helps people build relationships that lead to referrals, in fact, enable them to create referrals for life. George?
Thank you, Ivan. If you all don't mind, I might just have a couple of more questions for you, and I'm going to start with Graham and then move over to Ivan. Graham, 75% of executives said that they will invest in more hybrid experiences over the next 12 months. BNI introduced its hybrid format back in October, if you remember. Can you tell us more about the benefits of BNI's hybrid meeting offering?
Yeah, as a global business networking organization, we always want to be on the cutting edge of technology that helps businesses interact and grow. And so BNI Hybrid is an option for members and chapters around the world where the first meeting of the month is in person, and then the subsequent meetings are using BNI Online. And for a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, this really fits the need. It enables the high quality and the context of in-person with the efficiency and effectiveness of online. So it brings both of those things together. BNI as an organization wants the meeting each week, whether it's in person or online, to be the marquee experience that we see in chapters around the world. But we also want to encourage constant connectivity between those meetings. And we see so many referrals and so much closed business happens throughout the week. And now with BNI Mobile and other technology that we have, it's easy and seamless to make that the case. And so BNI Hybrid, we think will help more people access all the benefits that BNI offers. And so we do expect it to be a significant format that chapters are using, along with meetings or chapters that meet using our in-person format and chapters that meet using our online format. All three are permanent options that chapters can choose from.
Great stuff, Graham. Ivan, can you believe it's been 37 years when you founded BNI? Did you ever imagine the impact on people's lives, job creation, and communities as a whole have been so profound?
You know, I'm really humbled by what BNI has become. And to be honest with you, I didn't see that when I first started BNI. I didn't see what kind of impact BNI could have when I first started it. That came a little bit later. When I started BNI, I was just trying to put together a networking group that was relational and not mercenary. Prior to BNI, I went to groups that were so mercenary, I felt like I needed a shower afterwards because everyone was trying to sell to me. Or I went to other groups that were just totally social. It was happy hour and hors d'oeuvres and nobody was doing business. My Brody moment came about 1 year into BNI in December of 1985. Now, George, do you remember the movie Jaws?
I do.
Well, in Jaws, Sheriff Brody is on the boat towards the end of the movie, and he looks overboard and he sees the jaw, the great white shark, Jaws, for the very first time. And he backs up and he looks over at the captain and he says to the captain, "You're going to need a bigger boat." And it was really at that point in December of 1985 that I realized I'm going to need a bigger boat. I was looking for something that I wanted to participate in myself, but what I discovered was that I struck a chord in the business community. By the way, think about your Brody moment. What is it, or what was it in your business? You'll find that important as you develop your company further. By 1986, I had realized that this could be a huge movement with over 10,000 groups, which we just recently reached, by the way. I believe that if you impact enough communities, you can impact the world because we really are better together. Back to you, George.
Thank you, Ivan. So just some last thoughts from the both of you, if you don't mind, as we wrap up here. Ivan, is there any last words you'd like to share with our audience today?
Well, just a couple of things. And what I said earlier, your windshield is larger than your rear view mirror. Look ahead. There are opportunities where some people see nothing but challenges. Others see opportunities. They are out there. Today, more than ever, you need your network. Your network is a beacon of hope in a sea of fear. One of the things that Graham says that I really like is make new friends and keep the old. That's about building relationships and keeping your network. Thanks a lot, George.
Sure, absolutely. Graham, any last thoughts from you?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, it's been a bumpy couple of years, but the question that I think all entrepreneurs and business leaders should be asking is, what can they do now that they could not do before? What can they do now that they could not do before? We've been asking ourselves that question for the last several years, and we know BNI members have been asking that question. We've seen remarkable innovation as a result. As we look to 22 and beyond, anything is possible. Think about all the new resources that are available. Think about the world as your marketplace. And by working collaboratively, very closely together with other entrepreneurs and business leaders, you can absolutely achieve your dreams. And we want to help be a part of making that happen.
Thank you, Graham. There's a tremendous amount of takeaways that I've gotten from this. I just jotted down a few as we close today, and I just want to mention them, is that our business lives will be a lot more new than normal. True leaders will need to be resilient, be creative, and make smart tech decisions. And then finally, too, when you increase your base of referral partners, it drives more revenue growth. So I can name a whole lot more, but Graham and Ivan, thank you so much for you sharing your time and your fantastic insights with us. I know I'm walking away from today's presentation with a lot of great ideas. I hope that all of you have enjoyed today's live event. We truly are better together. Danny, now back to you.
Thank you, George. And thank you, Graham and Ivan. What a great presentation. George, phenomenal job hosting our Better Together Live. Ivan and Graham, as always, wonderful takeaways. I've got a bunch of notes. Prioritize technology to make it easier for your customer. There's always going to be certain uncertainty. Hire generalists. And I think the one where we all need to get used to is pivot. We got to pivot and optimize. But the one thing that sticks out for me is impact community. So if you'd like to make an impact in your community, I'm going to quote Beth Meisner in saying that 20% of our population may be the children, but they are 100% of our future. So if you'd like to make an impact in your community, the BNI Foundation is a great way to start that. You can visit bnifoundation.org, make a donation there. They invest in our communities because they invest in our children and getting them set up for success. So thank you all so much. And if you've enjoyed the kind of business building insights and ideas that you were able to receive today and listen to, you'll love being a part of our 2022 Global Convention. And this year, I'll give you a little hint, our Global Convention is headed down to the jewel of Southeast Asia, and that's Singapore. Join us in going to Singapore. It's known for its contemporary architecture, lush natural landscape, and warm hospitality. It makes the perfect place to connect and make memories. So we look forward to seeing you there to make memories. As we conclude today's event, please watch our closing video where we're going to release to you guys the 2022 theme for Global Convention. And at the end, scan that QR code and you can register to join us to make memories and connect as we head to Singapore in November. Thank you all. And again, I appreciate you joining us today because we are better together. Have a great one.
Welcome to BNI Singapore. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you back here in Singapore.